So the Google Pixel 8 Pro is a very controversial smartphone. Some people love Google Pixels and some people just immediately want to return them and make those angry "I'm returning my Google Pixel" videos. So how good is this phone really? And is it worth the retail price of $999? Well, I'm gonna let you know what I think about it in this full review. So with all that being said, let's get right into it. So the Google Pixel lineup, I think it's really misunderstood. The first thing that I really love about this phone, one thing that I love, the change that they made that I'm really adoring, is the design change. Because yes, you get the same type of camera bar in the back, and I do like how that actually distinguishes Google Pixels, but the design change here is actually going to come in the edges of the phone, because it's going to be very rounded off, and you're going to see in the display here, you're going to see a flat screen. You're also going to see in my phone here, it's a matte black, so it's not this huge glossy glass on the back. So I really do love the back of the phone. I love this matte black look, and I love the screen as well. I love how it's flat, and that's because a lot of people are practical people. We're going to put screen protectors on our devices. So now we have a device that could actually use a tempered glass screen protector. So thank you, Google, for making that change. Now, beyond that, Google did listen to some other things, and some things they didn't listen to. One thing that is not very improved on this device is the fingerprint sensor. So the fingerprint sensor here is still not ultrasonic. It is an optical fingerprint sensor, and that means that it really relies on the light and how it hits your finger to actually unlock the display. And with that, I get a lot of people like in-screen fingerprint readers, and that's fine. And it's still pretty fast, and this phone does have face unlock as well. You can't just put a picture up of someone and actually get it to unlock your phone. So that is good news that it's a little more secure, and now you could actually use your face unlock to open up your banking apps or to get through those password screens. So that is really impressive for those of us who have wanted that, and you can use face unlock most of the time. As long as there's decent lighting during the day, you're going to be able to unlock your phone very quickly and reliably. So I do like how we have a better face unlock, but still, I really wish we had an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor. But outside of that, we do see some other improvements with the display and also with performance this year. So the display is, in my opinion, one of the best displays, if not the best display in any smartphone. It gets a huge amount of brightness, ridiculous brightness, 120 Hertz, a gorgeous AMOLED display, so I absolutely love to see it. Samsung actually gave them, to my knowledge, this is one of the best Samsung display panels that you can get. So this does get 2400 nits of peak brightness. Like, it is a very bright display with a gorgeous resolution, 2992 by 1344, and it's a 6.7-inch screen. I think that's a great size for this phone. It feels really nice and comfortable in my hands. So finally, a lot of us have used inferior displays on Google Pixel devices in the past. That is not the case here. You're going to get an amazing display. Now, as far as performance, I think it's a little bit of a mixed bag, and it depends on what you want in a processor. So again, it doesn't get the highest benchmarks. This is the Tensor G3 processor. Now, to my knowledge, I know it's a Google Pixel in-house processor, but technically it is based on some stuff from Exynos, and Google Pixel phones in the past have ran a little bit warm. So how does this phone run? Is it overheating? Well, I would say it's better than last year, but it does still get a little warm depending on the situation. So we are getting better performance as far as the heat. I'm not noticing heat in this phone in normal situations. Like the Google Pixel 7 Pro, in a lot of normal situations, I would experience a lot of heat. So this phone is much better as far as the thermals. That is very good news, but it's still not quite as good with the thermals as something like a Galaxy S23 Ultra. So it's not the best, it's not the most efficient processor out there, but it still is a lot better than last year. Now, when it comes to actual performance with that processor though, that's where some people are all about raw benchmarks, and maybe they're all about how their game plays on Genshin Impact or something. And I get it, it's not as powerful as the Galaxy S23 Ultra processor, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, and it won't be as powerful as the 8 Gen 3 whenever that comes out. But whenever I look at this processor, it's still so smooth. And Google Pixel software is known to be much smoother in my opinion, and it is much smoother than Galaxy software. It's much smoother in my opinion than pretty much any software out there. So it's so smooth with the animations, it's so smooth when I'm going from app to app and everything like that, that I did not have any issues at all with performance. So I was really impressed with the performance, and everything that I was doing, it was flying through. So technically, if you're on the absolute top tier, upper echelon of all the users who video edits, who does high-end gaming in every single way, maybe this processor won't be the best processor for you. However, this does fly through everything I'm doing day to day, and not only that, but the other things, like this processor is made, they custom tweak it to work a lot better with AI, they custom tweak it to work a lot better with things like voice dictation, or with the Google Pixel features that they have on this phone. And that's where this phone shines. So it really depends on what you're doing. Either way, I think it's a nice, balanced processor that's really good at high-end gaming, and it is good at those things, but it's going to be even better at things that you're doing day to day, like voice dictation and a lot of stuff that it's going to use AI for. So there's a lot of cool things there, and there's a lot of great software features, and of course, a lot of those features you're going to find in the camera. That's what Google Pixels are known for. Well, we do have an improved sensor. And there was a lot of misinformation about this. Some people thought the sensor was not going to be upgraded. Some people thought it was going to get the GN2 sensor that was going to be out. And some people thought that was going to be in this and it was going to be a much better sensor. Well, it's a little bit in between. I've heard that the sensor is upgraded. It's a similar size to last year's camera sensor, but it's going to be a little bit better. It's going to be better for various lighting conditions and things like that. So we do get a slightly upgraded sensor. It is different than last year's camera sensor. And that's the same for the Pixel 8 or the Pixel 8 Pro. Like we have a 50 megapixel wide camera, a 48 megapixel telephoto camera, and also a 48 megapixel ultra wide camera. And amongst all these cameras, even the selfie camera, by the way, it is much improved. It does now have autofocus, which is really nice. I like, by the way, how you could actually change your picture profile now. If you want your pictures to be a little more vibrant, they do actually give you a picture profile option for that. There are also some pro camera controls now. Now that's only for photos, but Google Pixel phones, it's really subjective because they do actually have a little more muted colors. It's more true to life than something like a Samsung or even an iPhone. But some people still prefer Samsung photos. They prefer the vibrant look that they have, or they prefer the photos you get from an iPhone. In the end, I would argue that day to day, this is going to get you some of the most consistent photos out. In my opinion, I would argue it's the best camera out right now. Now, you can't do 100 times zoom like you can on the S23 Ultra, but I do think you're going to get some really nice images that day to day, your average person isn't using 100 times zoom. So I do think this is going to be a really nice camera. And when you look at the 4K video quality, the video quality is very nice. Once again, it's better, it's more improved than the Pixel 7 Pro. I technically don't think it's the best video out. I think it's neck and neck probably with the Galaxy S23 Ultra now. I think it's neck and neck even with the iPhone or close. I personally think the iPhones probably have ever so slightly better video quality nowadays, but it's going to be really close. And that is awesome news for us Android users. It's really nice video quality. Is it the best? Again, that's going to be very, very subjective, but I think it's ever so slightly below iPhone. I think it's a very close race, and that's the thing I'm really excited about. So if we look at all these things, we're going to see some improvements out there. There are some improvements to charging speeds, by the way. This year we get 30 watts, and the battery life is also a little bit improved. It's a 5,050 milliamp battery. The battery life is still not up to Galaxy S23 Ultra standards or iPhone standards, but it's very, very close. It's improved over last year, and it's really, really close to a lot of other flagship smartphones out there. Like, it is very good battery life. I would say I was getting around 7 hours of screen on time, and that is very, very good for a smartphone. So I really love this Google Pixel 8 Pro battery life. It's just not perfect, but it's a step down. So when I rank this phone overall, for one, it's $200 cheaper than a lot of other smartphones out there. It retails at $1,000 when the S23 Ultra is like $1,200, when you see the highest in iPhone at $1,200. And your compromises are really, one, having that fingerprint sensor that's a little slower, but you get better face unlock. So you get both, which iPhones only give you one option. So that could balance out a little bit. And when you look at some other minor things like charging speeds, some of you might want a little bit of faster charging speeds, or you want a little bit of better battery life. Again, it's so close to the high-end battery life, but it is a step below those things. So some of you might want the highest in gaming in the world or the highest in this or that from your processor. Well, this is really close to that. It's very close, but it's better with AI. And that's the thing, when you look at the features that Google Pixel phones provide, they have the magic editor now. But even beyond that, if you're actually trying to take a bunch of pictures of your kids and they're not smiling, you could actually use one of the other frames to actually change them to smiling. Now I get it, as MKBHD said, what is a photo? You know, this isn't necessarily, well, it is technically a real smile. It's the smile they had 3 pictures ago, but regardless, you're moving the smile from 3 pictures ago in the same frame that all the other kids were smiling. This works almost flawlessly, and it's insane how good it is. And I almost forgot to mention that Google now has 7 years of operating system updates and security updates for the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro. So that is a very, very significant thing. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, this is a phone that helps your average person. It helps you to avoid spam calls that you don't like. I get less spam calls on a Google Pixel than on any phone. I get better voice dictation in my texts. I get superior photos. I get amazing point and shoot photos. This phone now has a better display. It has better AI options to just make your life easier. It has better editing options for all of your photos. When you factor all of those things in, I don't really care if another phone gives me this much more performance that I'm not going to use anyway. Like, this phone flies through everything I do, and it actually tunes its processor to be a little bit better with AI and things that I'll actually use. So for me, the Google Pixel phone, this Pixel 8 Pro, in my opinion, it's right there neck and neck with the S23 Ultra. I'm not going to say it's the best smartphone out, but for me, personally, it is. Like, I prefer this over the S23 Ultra. The S23 Ultra, though, has an S Pen. The processor is a little bit better for some things, and some of you might prefer the zoom on it. Some of you might prefer Samsung DeX, which this doesn't have, right? So everyone's different with what they prefer in a smartphone. It does run slightly cooler than this phone, but this phone has more AI features. I really love the display. I think the display is tremendous on this phone. I love that the display is flat, and I hate screen protectors for the S23 Ultra, and I hate how I can barely find any good ones. I love tempered glass screen protectors. I love this phone and what it provides. So overall, I would say this phone is an incredible phone, and it's $200 cheaper than the S23 Ultra. So in that sense, I would say, for me personally, I do think this phone is a little better than that. I do think that this phone is neck and neck with the S23 Ultra and with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And in that sense, coming in a little bit cheaper, I think Google did a tremendous job this year. They improved almost everything that we want. There's not very much more I really want in a smartphone. So they did a great job, but it's not for everyone. Some people will prefer Samsung or some other phones, but I still can't knock Google this year because they really knocked it out of the park and came out with a great phone. So thank you for watching this review. I really appreciate your support. It means a ton to my channel. Please give me a like on this video and give me a sub and use those links. Seriously, that is a huge way to support my channel. Use those links in the description because I buy so many of these devices with my own money. I'm a small creator, so it means a ton to support me in that way. You could also do a membership, by the way. I just opened those up. I've got a 99-cent membership if you just want to do that monthly to support, and I have a few little features there. And if you want to check out some other videos, by the way, check those out. I make a ton of smartphone content, a ton of Android tablet content, and I hope you have a great day no matter what you do. And I really, really do hope you enjoy your week and enjoy whatever smartphone you end up buying.